everything I do is nobody else concerned. To let she go come online. And I see darkness all around me, but I know I'm the light. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby, shake it, shake it. I feel your vibration, fine girl on motion, beautiful temptation, hot girl on rotation. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby, shake it, shake it. Tonight, electricity, vibes on the frequency, yeah, till infinity, steady on the different beat. Love is very sweet, but first you must get the moolah. Na poverty, now you making my worry. Body go sign. You know everything I do is nobody else concerned. To let she go come on, she go come on. And I see darkness all around me, but I know I'm the light. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby, shake it, shake it. I feel your vibration, fine girl on motion, beautiful temptation, hot girl on rotation. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby, shake it, shake it. Tonight, electricity, vibes on the frequency.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studios at number 11 Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. We are also live on all our partner stations across the country. In the Western region, we are on Premier FM 100.5 and Beach 105 FM, all in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener FM 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we are on Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on Akpene Radio 96.7 FM in Bando and Heritage FM 107.3 in Hohoi. In the Northern region, we are on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. Upper East, we are on Word FM 88.3 FM in Zwarungu. Upper West, we are on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. In the Northeast region, we're on Eagle FM 94.1 FM in Wali Wali. The news is also live across the globe on citinewsroom.com. I am Wilma Ubobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I'm here with
Charles Owusukumi.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, Ochihene Osajefo Amwetio for opinion the second calls for the immediate arrest of Galamseyers, whose activities have led to the shutdown of Ghana Water Company Limited's treatment plant in Chibi.
Deny this ancient town water and and they show say no, this is how it looks like. The machine to me ain't this our water, and those who are doing this are criminals and they need to be arrested.
Also coming up, leadership of the New Patriotic Party confident that all MPP MPs will be present in Parliament for the budget reading tomorrow after an engagement with them.
It's a party responsibility position to say that as a member of the party, you have a duty to abide and uphold with the party's position.
Still ahead, Ghana Police Service commences investigations into a viral video in which 2 officers were seen assaulting a civilian at Asankragwa in the Western North region. And later, after 10 matches, we will take you live to Qatar and give you a feel of the World Cup craze and preparations in camp of Ghana's first game tomorrow. Stay with us as we bring you details of all that and more on the Citi Prime News.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your time this afternoon. We'll settle for the details of our stories now. Into a first story, the overlord of Achim Ibuakwa State, Osajifo Amwetia Oforipenin II, is calling for the immediate arrest of illegal miners operating in Chebi and its environs. According to the Ochehene, the recklessness of illegal miners, especially in the Brim River, is posing health risks to all residents in the enclave. His call comes after the Ghana Water Company Limited shut down its Chebi treatment plant due to high turbidity as a result of continuous pollution of River Brim by galamseyers. Addressing members of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners who paid a courtesy call on him to begin an operation to rid the Brim River of illegal miners, Ochehene Amwetia Oforipenin called on the IGP to ensure perpetrators are arrested.
What I'm saying is, look at these three regions and Ayeho Abi are 12, 14 people. How could you manage? The mechanism now, evaluating, and one way the bonding is shot. They expect to have results, but I just feel, sir, if we really want to make this thing work out, we should employ more people to. We have a problem, and I'm hoping and I'm praying. What is our stories here? Macabia, maybe how share destruction of nature. Now we are show. Now we are show. And I'm hoping, sir, by your leadership, any more organization, other people will learn, and also terminal commission for say. We are going to take it upon ourselves. Say, Crawford, which be a nature because God is soon here. Only a galamsey no and water company was owned to me my soul. Why should somebody's greed, somebody's recklessness deny this ancient town water and Rwanda Kwalabeno? And they show. Say, no, this is how it looks like. You're mashing to me into this hour day. And those who are doing this are criminals and they need to be arrested. There's no two ways about it. They are criminals and they need to be arrested.
Ochehene Osajifo Amwetia Oforipenin II, who bemoaned the lack of supervision of water bodies over the years in the fight against illegal mining, called for retooling of the Inspectorate's division of the Minerals Commission to help achieve the needed results.
What I'm saying is, look at these three regions and Ayeho Abi are 12, 14 people. How could you manage? The mechanism now, evaluating, and one way the bonding is shot. They expect to have results, but I just feel, sir, if we really want to make this thing work out, we should employ more people to supervise and I do now. I'm saying for Koyajuma. Now, only part of no, one could do a daytime. It's a sad situation. Now, nearby say, every person will be exposed to some health risk with these areas.
You heard the overlord of Achim Ibuakwa State, Osajifo Amwetia Oforipenin II.
Still on the matter of illegal mining, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, in collaboration with the University of Mines and Technology, has launched Operation Halt Chamfang on the River Brim as part of efforts to stop the pollution of water bodies in the eastern region. Among other things, the leadership of the association said a task force will patrol the Chebi water treatment plant area with 2 outboard motor-powered canoes and arrest persons mining in the Brim River. The General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama, in an interview with Citi News, expressed optimism about the success of the operation within a period of 1 year.
There is no law in the country that says that you can apply for license on river bodies or any water body. So what you see now, they are all illegalities. These are dredges that are built. So our task force with the police and all that will take all these dredges off the river body. You can see that their process have caused a lot of siltation and the degradation and then the pollution of the river body. As they are working, they are also polluted. Some are poo-pooing in it, throwing all waste into it. So we'll try and take all of them from it. We are starting from the top But this will be the first place because this is where our boats will be based, and then we'll have our office at the top there. So we'll try and take all these chamfrons off and then send them, if we get some corporate, we send them to the police to face the law. During the Miners Week, we, in collaboration with UMAT, we said we need to adopt one water, concentrate our efforts on that water body and ensure that we reduce the stability level. It will take about a year to do this. So upon further deliberation, we have to choose the Brim River and then work on it. So that is the something that we picked up during the Miners Week. We engaged with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and then they also supported it with the Minerals Commission. So we will be working closely and ensure that at least the turbidity is reduced.
You heard the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama. Now, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology in Takwa, Professor Kwesi Amankwa, said a baseline study will begin and repeat data collection every 2 months to help them make an informed decision going forward.
We have a task force that will be monitoring the path, or let's say the way the water is moving, so that anybody who tries to bring in waste can be taken care of or dealt with. So we are going to monitor the baseline. We are going to do the baseline studies to find out the current state of the river. And then we are going to monitor it every 2 months to see whether the suspended particles are dropping or it is still cloudy or turbid. And when it becomes clear after 6 months that everything has settled, then we will be happy. If not, then we may have to add some chemicals to force those fine particles to settle.
That was the Vice Chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology, Professor Kwesi Amankwa. At the same event, the Buakwa South Municipal Security Council expressed worry over the activities of illegal miners and have vowed to support the initiative by the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. Akosia Asabia is the MCE and head of the Municipal Security Council.
And the reasons are that they actually work late in the night. Deep in the night when we are all asleep, they get up and then go and do these things. With this task force coming on board, they have promised that they will be able to work at night. And so we will be able to clamp down on this illegal mining along the banks of the Brim River within the Buakwa South. I speak to you today because we went out on Friday. The turbidity level has gone down drastically. So I know that today they will pump water and so we'll be able to get water.
Akosia Asabia is the Buakwa South Municipal Chief Executive.
Now, the Ghana Police Service has begun investigations into a viral video in which 2 officers were seen assaulting a civilian at Asankragua in the Western North region. The victim was manhandled by the 2 police officers after accusing him of carrying a substance suspected to be marijuana in a tricycle. The suspect, who could be heard pleading with the officers, denied ownership of the substance. He was seen in the video being dragged on the ground and stamped on the chest by the officers. The police, in a statement, noted that the victim has been contacted to assist with investigations.
Now, given the challenges facing the Ghanaian economy, a tax analyst, Francis Timoriboy, is urging government to not introduce new taxes, especially consumption taxes. The call is coming ahead of tomorrow's budget, which the government has said would be heavy on an aggressive revenue mobilization drive. There is more in the following report. We apologize for that. We'll bring you that story in our subsequent bulletins.
Now, the Minister for Information, Kojo Ponkroma, is urging the majority and minority sides of Parliament to collaborate in getting a feasible budget that will propel the Ghanaian economy onto the path of recovery. Hinting on some key pillars of the budget, the Minister said it will focus on restoring macroeconomic stability, arresting the escalating cost of living, achieving moderate growth, and completing ongoing government projects across the country. Speaking to the media, the Information Minister said the budget statement is a prerequisite for securing an IMF deal and therefore must be carefully crafted in order to get the buy-in of all.
I think, as has been mentioned, this budget is seminal. It's seminal because it will pave the way for the post-crisis growth that we are looking for. And it's important that we collaborate, majority, minority, civil society, media, all of those who have an understanding of how a national economy works and who have a role to play in this should rally around. Let's do this. Let's do it quickly and nicely so that all of those that we are seeking to work with, the fund, global partners, can have confidence that Ghana has its acts together and can come join us as we recover after this crisis.
That was the Minister for Information, Kojo Opon Nkrumah.
Now, leadership of the New Patriotic Party says it hopes and expects all NPP MPs to abide by the consensus reached and be present in the chamber for the presentation of the budget tomorrow. This comes after the National Executive of the New Patriotic Party stepped in to prevent a possible boycott of the budget presentation by some 98 members of the majority in Parliament. The MPs threatened not to attend to any business brought to the House by the Finance Minister until the President heeds to their call to relieve him of his position. In view of this, the NPP National Executives held a meeting with the MPs to ensure they do not carry out their threat. Richard Ahiagba is the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party.
General representation, the MPs were there. It was to just get everybody on the same page and say, look, we had this understanding, take care of the urgent business of addressing the budget, finishing with the IMF conversation, till after the agreement to have the budget done and then IMF discussions on before there's the conversation about their grievances addressed. So really, it's not a question of people them having to express any disagreement in relation to the matter in issue. It is just a question of understanding to postpone it, to actually then engage really the matter of having the finance minister go. So if you like, I should tell you that this is more it's a party responsibility position to say that as a member of the party, you have a duty to abide and uphold with the party's position. That is a primary responsibility of all party members, and that is what has been articulated in the letter, and I expect that all members are obligated to discharge their membership duty of abiding by the party's position.
Richard Ahiagba is the Director of Communications for the NPP. We'll now bring you the report of a tax analyst, Francis Timoriboy, who is urging government to not introduce new taxes into the 2023 budget.
Domestic revenue generation is high on the agenda of government as it seeks to build back the economy from the current hardships it has been facing for some time now. Over the years, Ghana's domestic revenue mobilization drive has faced many challenges, especially non-compliance on the part of many citizens. In a bid to improve the effectiveness of the tax system, sources close to Citi News have stated that the 2023 budget would be heavy on the delivery of measures to expand the tax net and implement tax-efficient measures to increase revenue mobilization. The country's domestic revenue collection is equivalent to about 12% of the value of goods and services produced in the economy. It is likely that the value-added tax, which is currently 12.5%, will be increased by between 2 and 3 percentage points. But for tax analyst Francis Timoriboy, the timing is not right given the challenges facing Ghanaians now.
The expectation is that, yes, we all admit that the public finance is not in good shape. We need to mobilize revenue. However, looking at this time where prices of goods and services are escalating, any new tax, especially in the form of consumption tax, is likely to escalate things the more, and the situation will be worse if we introduce any consumption tax, because consumption taxes are usually passed on to the final consumer. The best approach would have been that even if we need money, as we see it now, we should have some of these direct taxes coming in rather than additional consumption tax.
He is rather pushing for timelines for the commencement of the collection of property taxes as part of measures to raise more revenue domestically.
We would have preferred that the government will focus more on the direct taxes. A typical example is the neglect of property tax, which has been on the table for a very long time. property tax could give us enough revenue. You look at some jurisdictions like Canada and co, they get about 40% of their tax revenue from property taxes. So clearly, consumption tax is easy to collect. You have a wider base, but then the timing may not be proper because it's going to cause prices of goods and services to increase, to escalate more.
That was a report by Citi News' Nettie Linette.
Now, the National Road Safety Authority has disclosed that close to 400 people were killed through vehicular accidents between January and October this year in the Ashanti region alone. Over 3,000 others sustained various degrees of injuries within the same period. The authority says available data shows that speeding and stationary vehicles continue to be among the major causes of road crashes in the country. Although there is a reduction in the figures as compared to previous years, road safety officials say they are intensifying enforcement to further bring the number of fatalities and injuries down. Citi News' Bureau Chief for the Middle Belt, Edward Opong-Mafo, reports.
The lives of many Ghanaians continue to be cut short due to rampant road crashes. Many infants have become orphans as their parents, who are their breadwinners, have died and their dreams have been shattered. Aside from the deaths recorded, many people are suffering from injuries. Mike Odum narrates how his 29-year-old brother, who was a student of Kumasi Technical University, was killed on 14th November 2022 after he was knocked down by a vehicle while crossing the road in Kumasi.
My late brother, he left us last week Monday, 2 days exactly a week. It was an accident that happened in the evening of Tuesday. So he left home to go and buy food. He said he was not satisfied with the food at home, so he left home to go and buy food, and we didn't hear from him till the next day evening when we had heard he was rushed to the hospital as a result of an accident. And it was very tragic because we could not fathom how he was just going to buy food and we are hearing he's at the hospital. So one thing that I'll stress on is the speeding with regards to the drivers.
The National Road Safety Authority says, although there has been a reduction in road crashes and fatalities involved in this year's figures as compared to previous years, the situation is still worrying. Simbiat Redu is the Ashanti Regional Director of National Road Safety Authority.
Okay, so from January to October 2022, we have recorded 2,886 road crash cases in the Ashanti region. Out of it, 4,865 vehicles were involved. We are looking at commercial, private, and then motorcycle. And then 377 people got killed, or people were killed out of the crashes from January to October 2022. In all the cases, or in all the categories, if you compared it to last year figures, we have some level of reduction. But that does not mean we should relent on our efforts. We are still putting things in place to ensure that the numbers go further down.
Simbiat Redu has been outlining some major causes of road accidents and has thus stated that her outfit is intensifying enforcement efforts.
Speeding continued to take a major share or major cause of the cases. We record about 60% in road traffic crashes through speeding. Out of the speeding, we see drivers overtaking wrongfully, and so we urge drivers to comply by the speed limits. If you are on a highway, 70 kilometers per hour. If you are approaching an urban area, it's 50 kilometers per hour maximum. And then if you are approaching a settlement, urban settlement, it's 30 kilometers per hour. Again, stationary vehicles also contribute to most of the crashes. So we are urging the general public to subscribe to the National Towing Service by the GPRTU, and ensure that within an hour their vehicles are towed off on the highway, and then within 2 hours their vehicles are towed off in the urban areas. We are enforcing, or we are seeing to it that our vehicles, of broken down vehicles, are cleared off our road space, and so the exercise will take off by the end of the year, and then all vehicles will be towed off whether you have subscribed or you haven't subscribed.
The mayor of Kumasi, Samuel Pine, says The Assembly is worried about the rate of road crashes in the metropolis. In collaboration with Bloomberg Philanthropies, KMA visited some accident victims as part of 2022 World Day of Remembrance for road crash victims and presented them with undisclosed amounts and various items. The Assembly also organized a sensitization campaign on road crashes at Dunkirk in Kumasi, while leadership of various driver unions were enlightened on the need to ensure sanity on our roads. KMA and Bloomberg Philanthropies, after donating 2 speed measuring devices to the Ghana Police Service, has now presented 5 more devices to enhance enforcement.
Drivers should be cautious. Whatever that they do, they adhere to road regulations, safety regulations, and also pedestrians and other passengers should also be mindful how they also use the roads and how they behave and talk to drivers, especially when they are on the highways. And I think with the donation of the speed guns and the rest to the MTTD in Kumasi is going to be of immense help and help us achieve our objective of minimizing road accidents, especially within the city. Not if you are even not able to take it off completely, but to minimize it to the barest levels.
As part of an intensified effort by KMA to clamp down road crashes, the Assembly has mounted mangled vehicles that have been involved in accidents at vantage points with inscriptions urging road users to avoid mistakes that lead to road crashes on a daily basis.
Road accidents are still claiming lives of many Ghanaians, and with a concerted effort, we will be able to reduce the numbers. For Citi News, I'm Edward Oponmafo, Kumasi.
And back here in the studio in Adabraka, and Wilma Ubobisa Coleman with Charles Owusu-Kumi. You are still listening to the Citi Prime News. Still to come, minority in Parliament expresses disappointment at the majority's failure to support essential motion against Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. We'll bring you the details shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Afiwe, Black Stars fans say attempt team selection. Na coaching ejumanen swe. Hey, na Black Stars bit maybe be. Saka sanonso. No negative talk, positive talking kwa. Mama yen kamum. Qatar 2022 way. Na yen tap Black Stars echi. DSTV the 64 matches ni na be bro with DSTV compact so. For 169 Ghana cedis beji decoder and the year. Ghana, it's our moment.
Now Jordan, are you correct?
Hey, Masa. Yejai.
Fine, anyone can become the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyone. Whether market woman, student, professional, even fisherman or cobbler. YouGoFlip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand the chance of winning a house, cash, or other prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win.
Contact us on 0555222490.
YouGoFlip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. We'll bring you some more stories now. Some Ghanaians have cited poverty as the main reason they are unable to enroll their children into schools. The survey conducted recently disclosed that about 1.2 million children between the ages of 4 and 7 do not attend school. The survey revealed that the Savannah region has the highest percentage of children out of class. In the following report, Citi News' Kweku Ediama Ansa visits Jamestown, a suburb of Accra, to interact with parents on ways to reverse the trend.
A latest survey by the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed that 1.2 million children here in Ghana between the ages of 4 and 7 do not attend school. Now, this particular staggering revelation has caught the attention of major stakeholders who are calling for reforms or interventions to be made. This particular survey was reviewed in commemoration of the International Children's Day, which was marked on the 20th of November 2022. We will be visiting some communities who are known to be culprits of this particular challenge, and we'll be assessing the situation and to find out what can be done to remedy this particular canker. We're here at Asha Town, which is very close to Jamestown and its adjoining communities. Just very close to this particular town is the Asha Fort. Indigents are mostly fisher folks. This is because they live very close to the sea. So the day has begun already for residents who live here. For the gentlemen who go for fishing, they are already at the shores. They have begun their day. Also, for the women who mostly stay behind and work on the fish, they are also going about their duty. Unfortunately, we are capturing some children who are below 10 and are on the streets currently. Some of them I can see are picking some refuse, some bottle and sachet on the streets here. We do not know what they're doing with it, but we'll be getting up close with them. I would be helped by my colleague who is also in the City newsroom, Akosia Otre. She knows this place better.
All right, so Kweku, if you know this area very well, that is Jamestown, you know that on a regular day when you come here, even on a weekday, you see a number of children on the streets. As you rightly said, we just spotted these kids in town. It's 12 p.m. and a lot of them are not in school.
We'll be tracking their parents just to find out what their reasons have been and how we can actually salvage this particular situation.
At times, some of the kids attend classes twice a week. Their mothers are unemployed and cannot afford to pay their school fees. Yes, I do. They are my sister's kids. And honestly, some of the children are in school, whilst others aren't. The reason for them not being in school is poverty.
I'm age. Oh, I may be not emotional 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 5 years, 1 year. Okay, what many main problem? Okay, I'm a Fiji. I mean, why could about pay fees alone? Mini, any school, I'm free education.
Even though some of the children are benefiting from free education, their parents still have to provide some basic needs. Due to irresponsibility on the part of some fathers, the single mothers also refuse to enroll their children out of anger or in retaliation.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the education sector have been reacting to this particular situation, and that Africa Education Watch, which has been critical of the education system here in the country, has been calling on government to put in more efforts to achieve more children getting back to the schools.
Not too surprised, because we've been interrogating data every day as part of our work. Even if you took a walk along the streets of Accra, you would see lots of children, at traffic intersections, begging and all over the place. Strategically, as a country, we haven't positioned basic education as a priority enough. We have pretended as if we will forget about the compulsory aspect of basic education as enshrined in 38(2) of the Constitution and just move along naturally. That posture hasn't helped. If we pursue basic education as a constitutional right, which is compulsory, has government put in place adequate school infrastructure to supply basic education to the citizenry? No. And until and unless we see government investing heavily, not just in basic education, but in basic education infrastructure expansion and maintenance, we are not going to see our access data improve.
The report was filed by Citi News' Kweku Ediama Ansa.
Now, the executive director of the Institute for Education Studies, Peter Pate Anti, is urging the West African Examinations Council to conduct more internal investigations as it moves to investigate examination malpractices recorded in the 2022 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. His comments comes on the back of a statement issued by WAEC in which it said it was commencing a probe into some examination malpractice in the 2022 WASI, while urging candidates and school authorities to comply with investigation processes. Speaking to Citi News, Peter Pate Anti said a focus on internal investigation will help WAEC ascertain whether or not its officials were complicit in examination malpractices.
I expect that there will be a little bit of change in the mode and method by which they would undertake this investigation. I expect that they would do a lot of in-house investigation and more than outside their system. So a lot of in-house investigation should be undertaken. And then the normal investigation about schools, individuals, and other groups of people who engage in these malpractices can also be looked at. But I expect that this time around, they would come out with a report, an in-house report of measures that, or of their investigation about how possibly people within their setup might have contributed to examination malpractices.
Peter Pate Anti is the executive director of the Institute of Education Studies. Meanwhile, head of public affairs at WAEC, Agnes Taikujo, has been speaking to Citi News on the development.
During the conduct of the exam, a number of malpractices were recorded. Some also came up during the marking exercise. So we are investigating those cases that were recorded during the exam and those that came up after the exam. We had cases of candidates who brought in foreign material. We had cases of candidates who brought in mobile phones. We had cases of candidates who engaged in impersonation. And then we are also scrutinizing some scripts as well. We'll be able to give you a timeline when we announce the release of the results. I think our statement states that our target date is the 30th of November.
Agnes Taikujo is the head of public affairs at the West African Examination Council.
We'll take you to Parliament, where the minority has expressed disappointment in the majority caucus over its posture in the censure motion against Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. The minority filed the censure motion against the Finance Minister over allegations of conflict of interest, financial recklessness leading to the collapse of the Ghana cedi, and gross mismanagement of the economy, among others. Some New Patriotic Party members of Parliament also called on the President to dismiss the Finance Minister due to the current economic hardships. However, the majority side did not support the minority's campaign to have the Finance Minister removed. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu says the majority has failed Ghanaians.
We feel let down and we feel betrayed by the majority caucus, who have shown no
structure has become one of the key determinants by citizens to measure the impact of a government. Roads are also considered to be a major factor in bringing about massive economic and social development. Government in 2020 announced the year to be a year of roads, but in its third year, some roads are still yet to be put in a good shape. In some parts of the Adaklu district of the Volta region, road users who are mostly traders lament the impact of the bad nature of their roads. According to the residents, although a Chinese company operating a quarry in the community supplies materials for the construction of the Eastern Corridor Road project and other road projects in the region, they are yet to benefit from the company. Unit Committee Chairman for the Adaklu Abuadi electoral area, Bismarck Lecha, said the activities of the company has further worsened the plight of the residents. He said activities of the quarry company is affecting their lives and wants government to intervene.
Adaklu Abuadi jua melefia na tema lankudon la mi ho chana to le mi agbole fiele ekpe gba ka kemele benefit de ke pocho ogwoyo fifie nembe mi wa ngo idore le ejuome kemi bia ekpe okurala wagbe o manamiu.
Our road has been a major challenge for us despite a Chinese company here in our community that feeds other areas with quarried stones for road construction. We receive no support from them even when we ask for machines to work or rehabilitate the road. We don't get any. In all, we want our roads to be constructed for us, even if not by them, then by the government. The road is now getting worse because of the heavy-duty trucks plying the stretch.
No, your way back Bellamonemi, come, the drummer. Damijibel Fifiela Nova Paul Mogbonami. No one Paul Mogbonemi, ke Mabia to Jirusi, Bemiao, Abejumevion and Lamila Sido Jigger. Some
residents who also spoke to City News want urgent steps to be taken to address their challenges. According to them, buildings have over the years felt the impacts of the blasting of rocks by the quarry company and want the company to support the community by providing them with some social amenities.
Initially, when they started, they promised that they will make a bypass. They will not go along the main road. They know there are big vehicles who spoil the road. So they promised making a bypass. But nothing, for 12 years now, nothing of the sort has happened. You yourself, you can see how bad the road is. If it rains, it becomes very muddy. You can't go out. If you go out and come back, you have to wash your legs before you go out. And from here to Oyo is about 7 kilometers, but when it rains, they take 10 cities instead of 5 cities. So you see the situation in which we are. The quarry side here, you see, when they do blasting, they blast the rocks, it shakes the ground. This is my house. The distance fell. When they blasted, the whole thing got down. The ceiling, the whole room, blah, just like that. If someone were to be in the room, the one would have died. You can see the nature of most of the buildings. It's bad. Because of the way they have spoiled this road, you see, the rain that it does not pass through the gutter again. It flows over. If you go to the outskirts there, you see how bad people's buildings are.
We are losing customers every day because they refuse to buy our items. Our shops are now dusty even though we clean them. The nature of the road is really affecting us. We suffer more during the raining seasons because we are unable to transport our items from the market to the community due to how muddy the road gets.
Social responsibility. The family net getty a cockberry juom. What da for ginning?
We don't receive anything from the quarry company. All we want from them is to ensure we enjoy some social responsibilities from the company. They need to rehabilitate our collapsed and cracked buildings, which have been as a result of their works. They can donate some equipment and medicines to our clinic. We don't have toilet facilities in the community. Our roads have also deteriorated.
Street oji wa basa ne tijala fi obete poto umle ka wa vole pegba ya mo bete ko fugan le mo jito le port ho na mo tala problem ema.
They also called on government to bring contractors to site to fix their roads as it is negatively affecting economic activities.
They have to see to our social responsibilities. Once a while, they can supply our hospitals with, our clinic with respiratory drugs. Then they can give us furniture. They can give furniture to our schools. When we are doing something, they must support us financially. They must support us. And if they come to our place here, they don't do anything. They don't do anything. We want our roads. If you talk, they will say the road is awarded on contract, so they will not do anything. Meanwhile, they are road contractors, and they are disturbing us sincerely. If you want to revolt, people feel it is the chief who has given them the contract. So it will look as if you are revolting against the chief. That is why things have gone so bad.
Business owners, residents, and road users here at Abuade, Adaklu, in the Adaklu district of the Volta region are calling on government and the quarry sites here to, as a matter of urgency, fix the road for them and also put in measures to prevent stones, pebbles from falling into their homes anytime they blast their rocks. For Citi News, from Adaklu, Abuade, I'm Desmond Selasiago.
Now from the Volta region, we go to the northern region where the newly installed chief for Babijebi clan in the Tatali Sanguli have urged all persons under his authority to always seek peace as a way of ensuring development in the area. There's more in the following report by Aminu Alabira.
It was full of excitement at the family house of the newly outlawed chief when his clan men, friends, and sympathizers thronged the palace to celebrate his new title. The Babejebe clan in Tatali has been without a chief for many years, and this, according to family members, has affected the growth and development of the clan. The community lacks basic amenities like good roads. The absence of a chief was as a result of some misunderstanding after the funeral of the last chief. At a ceremony to present the chief to the community, the new chief, Uboro Kojotuko Pakpebe II, admonished his people to embrace peace, saying that is the only sure way to ensure development in the area. This was his message, read by his secretary, Peter Indie.
We know with peace, we can develop this our community to the level that we want. And we know that if we are united, there is nothing that will lack in this community. He is trying to do all things that all the developmental things that we lack in this community, to mention a few: potable water, and especially the road that leads to town. It is one of the headaches that the new chief would like to champion, so that we are able to get the road done and get water, so that we can develop our community to the next place that we need to live as people.
The paramount chief of Tatali traditional area, Ubor Garba Yonkoso II, urged all clans in the traditional area to ensure their chiefs are esteemed. He said he does not choose chiefs for clans, but allows them to choose their own leaders.
This Bebaji clan, they took their leader. He's not the one who gives them a leader. So as they have chosen their leader, they can even destroy their leader. He cannot destroy their leader. And he is also telling the chiefs that as they have given him the power, he shouldn't say that the Bebaji people, they are nothing. He should obey their instructions. So the paramount chief is saying that he wants unity for the Basaris, the whole Tetali Sangu, he wants unity.
The report was filed by Citi News' Aminu Alabiro. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News, which is live from our studio in Adaraka, Accra. Still ahead. After 10 matches, we are live in Qatar to give you a feel of the World Cup craze and preparations in camp for Ghana's first game tomorrow. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Imagine a world where all domestic, electrical, and household appliances were excluding 100% price tags. Well, promo on promo Black Friday, ready for the holidays. Yes, it's nationwide from 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th to 27th of November. It's promo on promo Black Friday. How lucky you are to experience the massive clearance. Come for your Samsung, Nasco, Media, and Toshiba products. Everyone has got a chance to grab anything from television, microwave, fridges, cookers, blenders, sound tower, and many more. And sales at unbelievable prices. Don't hesitate, it's nationwide. Venue Accra, Ring Road, Homelands, Pentas, Coca-Cola, Runabout, all the way to Mankasim, Tamale, Kumasi, and Takrady. The Great Bazaar, EGL, the massive clearance. Call 0242 439 437. Promo on promo Black Friday. Any more questions?
What do you get when you mix the best DJs in the country, the most amazing live band sets, delicious cocktails, and wonderful food? Back-to-back hit music from Ghana's finest group, Prior, and being serenaded by the brilliantly talented Aquabua. The biggest outdoor party, of course. Situation 2022. Are you ready to party? We are changing the situation on December 24, 2022 with the biggest outdoor party in Accra. The Situation Outdoor Party 2022. Let's wrap up the year in style with the most epic party to end all parties this Christmas Eve with Situation. Make your Christmas Eve come alive with the most incredible DJs who will keep you dancing all night long. Amazing live band sets and the crooner Aquabua. It is the perfect ingredient for the best party this festive season. Ain't no party like a city.
Hello, welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco.
I am Umaru.
Because of the houses that have blocked its access routes, it takes over the place, overflows, and that's where you see the flooding.
Well, if you want any evidence to show whether or not Shatawale is a popular artist, this right here reflects that.
And you know how the ghetto is. You always understand Shatawale. Yeah, that's why we always love him, because he's our motivator.
But you know, I can never panic like Titanic. All Lima panic.
Hello and welcome to the Citi Newsroom. This is your bedroom. Yes. Now, can you tell us exactly what was destroyed, what happened here?
Okay, they have just destroyed my iron, fridge, fan, and this is what they destroyed in my room.
Within the hearts of our youth, if you don't release that anger, you can only have a revolution on your hands.
There seemed to be some heavy military presence, and on our way, we actually saw some.
You're welcome back. Now, the 2022 World Cup has entered its fourth day with Ghana's game against Portugal a little over 24 hours from now. Following Ghana's friendly game against Switzerland, many Ghanaians are optimistic about the team's chances in the tournament. Benjamin Nketia is our head of sports at Citi FM and Citi TV, and he joins us on the phone lines live from Qatar. The 2022 World Cup has ended with
Hello, welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai Loco.
I am Umaru Sanda Amadou.
From Qatar, and Benjamin Nketia is our head of sports at Citi FM and Citi TV. Good afternoon, Benjamin. if you can hear me, what's the atmosphere like in Qatar, and what are the expectations of Ghanaian fans there ahead of tomorrow's game?
Good afternoon, Wilma, and I can hear you loud and clear. I can tell you that most Ghanaians here are in good spirits, and not even just the Ghanaians. Ironically, I was speaking to some Nigerians and Kenyans, and they made it very clear that just because their countries are not participating in the World Cup, they are throwing their full support behind Ghana. I'm talking about going to the extent of acquiring Ghanaian flag and getting Ghanaian jerseys. And so if you know what Qatar is generally like, there are a lot of Ghanaian migrant workers here. And so the Ghanaian community here is one of the most vibrant among the migrant workers around here. So it's been an absolute festival. I'm sure you saw the videos on social media a couple of days ago. The Ghanaian fans were basically, in their Jama spirit and like sharing and basically embodying the spirit of the World Cup generally. So I can tell you that basically based on that Saudi Arabia result against Argentina, a lot of people who were not so certain of what sort of performance to expect from the Black Stars against Portugal are all of a sudden looking at this game like a game where we can either cause an upset or a game where it's a 50-50 affair. And talking about that, the Black Stars just held a press conference just a few moments ago. A few points were touched on that I think are worth noting. So Cristiano Ronaldo, some way, somehow, his name will not leave the news. Black Stars coach Otuaro and Andrea, you were both asked about if the current situation facing Ronaldo has a potential to distract him and to have a positive impact for Ghana against Portugal. Both of them seem to believe that Ronaldo is a very resilient character, and as a result, will not carry his club hangover into the Portugal national team. And so they are not expecting any favors from Portugal. As far as the team itself is concerned, inexperience is one of those very obvious standout points for this Black Stars team. Basically noting that Andrea Ayew and his brother Jordan Ayew are the only two ever featured in the World Cup for Ghana. So there's a lot of inexperience, but if you look at the spirit in camp, generally, you look at the seriousness in camp, the lads look like they know they can get one against Portugal. It might not be a win, but they are confident that they can definitely get a result that is worth coming away with when that final whistle goes in that game.
We also know the Black Stars goalkeeper, Joseph Wallacott, who did not make the squad, has joined the team in Doha to support them. Tell us more.
Yes. He received a really raucous reception today when he appeared in team camp. You can tell that he has built a very strong bond with his teammates, and so not even just his team, like the technical stuff and everybody around the team seemed very pleased to have him around. And it was unfortunate how he bowed out of the World Cup, and so you can understand the sentiments around him. I think it's a big deal. Wallacott feels like he can still aid this team somewhere, somehow, even though he won't be imposed. I mean, he could easily have been something and said that because he's injured, he would sit away or stay away from the team, but he's pledged to help out. He's pledged to help with the drills, with little instructions, pointers for his teammates. So everybody seems happy to have Jojo around. I think it only adds to the positive atmosphere that is in the Black Stars camp. And you know that typically in tournaments like this, it's characterized by a very tense atmosphere because of what has happened. And ironically, Ghana's last game in the 2014 World Cup was against Portugal. Ghana's first game in this World Cup will be against Portugal again. So you need all the positivity you can get, and I think Wallacott brings that in back.
Now, what are we to expect from day 4 of the competition? We know one game between Morocco and Croatia ended without a goal. What other games should football fans look forward to?
I mean, there are a host of games being played today. If you look at the lineup of matches, Japan are in action. The Japanese fans have basically been pouring into Doha as we speak.
Hello, Ben, can you hear me? We seem to have lost Benjamin Nketiah from Qatar. Would end the bulletin. That's how we end the Citi Prime News live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. We're also live on our partner stations in the Western region. We're on Premier 100.5 and Beach 105.5 FM, all in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we're on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, we're on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Akpene Radio 96.7 FM in Pando and Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi. In the northern region, we're on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In the upper east region, we're on Word FM 88.3 in Zuarungu. In the upper west region, we're on Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. And in the northeast region, we're on Eagle FM 94.1 in Wali Wali. For more news, you can log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. I am Wilma Obobisa Coleman, and this afternoon I was here with
Charles Owusukumi.
Up next is the City Business News with Natalie. Many thanks for your time. Have a good afternoon.
City 97.3.